Embrace the darkness, Jackie.
Hello there, Sir from 17 once again, introducing you to my Darkness 2 Dawn difficulty video walkthrough. This is chapter 13 and it's entitled Fun and Games. At the start of this mission, you're actually sneaking into this carnival area and you're going to be doing a bunch of flashbacks where you shoot and do mini games to impress Jenny. And if you get 1,000 points in both of the mini games, you will actually unlock an achievement. But I've edited that out because the level is really long as it is, and there's no point in me showing you how to do something that is not challenging whatsoever. It's very simple, and it has, there's no challenge to it. So I've taken it out to focus on the real stuff. And as soon as you get control, you want to shoot out the lights, and immediately you're going to get attacked by 2 of the teleporting enemies. And this is the first time we've encountered them, and they're probably the most difficult enemy on the game for damage, because he takes a massive pounding and he's fast. But as you just saw, if you hit him and you whip him when he gets close, it does massive damage, and you can pick him up and execute him like anybody else. The gun channeling ability will completely destroy those teleporting guys. And also, if you use the swarm on them, that will bug them and enable you to focus whatever damage you want to do, and you'll kill them really quick. But there's another one in front of me there, do you see him? You can always tell because they've got this distinctive armour to them, and you'll be able to spot them when you play and you kill a few, because you can see kind of like the shoulder pads. But when you don't have any abilities, you can shoot him as normal, but you want to get close as possible so you can stun him with your darkness and pick him up and execute him, because your guns do damage, they just don't do as much damage as the darkness does. But one of the main threats on this area is there's a lot of spotlights and there's a lot of illumination in certain places that you need to take care of. Like that one there, I can't do aught about that light, I've got to smash it inside that building. So you just run past that one and focus on the dudes. But if you look over in this courtyard, there's a bunch more guys. Right then the auto-aim fucked me because I was trying to shoot the explosive barrel, but it kind of like magnetized me to this douchebag, which is a little bit frustrating, but we get him with the execution anyway. And then it's just the standard dudes now with the helmets, which I'm taking out with my pistol. But I would recommend you getting probably a Python if you can. I'd recommend getting a UMP, and I would recommend getting a striker. And that way you've got something for pretty much every situation, and you should have enough ammo to take down every encounter, should I say. But there's one guy behind me. Oh no, that's the Darkling running around. And if you take out all the lights, it enables your friend, the little Darkling dude, to actually attack the enemies and distract them for you. And a really underused tactic on this game is throwing the Darkling, because if you have that ability, he will kill pretty much anything he touches when you throw him. It's just, the throw can be super fucking glitchy. Like, I threw him at a guy on a balcony, he completely missed the balcony, and the guy on the balcony still died. So, take that as you want, but it's a little bit weird. But I carried the explosive barrel then because I knew there was a spawn point in front of me, and I threw it and pretty much took out everybody that was there. And if you know the spawn points, you can do this quite a lot in this mission. And the first time through the game, there's another area that I did it in, but I didn't do it on my recording room, which is a shame because it would have made it a bit more interesting. But as soon as you push forward, that jeep will pull up and a bunch of guys are going to get out of it. Because of the headlights, I couldn't try and spawn kill them with the barrel, but it's okay, because if you stay back here and you get some distance, the melee guys will run to you, the shotgun guys and everybody will just sit back, and you can just clip the heads or take out the headlights and move in. It's entirely up to you how you do it, but this is by no means one of the more challenging areas of this level. The hard bit coming up is just a big courtyard where you're going to take on a lot of enemies. There's shield guys, there's the disarming guys, and there's just a lot of dudes. It's a little bit unfair actually, because they're very close to you, there's not a lot of cover, and there's a lot of dudes. But do be aware of the environment as well. Try and look in the nooks and crannies for relics. If you see any of the scaffolding that you can throw, feel free to pick it up, because it's an insta-kill and it's a really effective way of taking down your enemy. And just watch out for muzzle flashes and damage indicators, because if you can't find people, they will tell you where they are. As I clobber that dude with the darkness and pick him up. But because this is pretty much standard, I'm going to talk about some other things, and then I'll come back to strategy if anything jumps out at me and it needs addressing. But I just read a book the other night, and it's the newest book by a guy called Matthew Riley, and if anybody doesn't know who this person is, he's an Australian novelist that pretty much writes the equivalent to not dumb Michael Bay action movies, and they're really quick paced, filled with ridiculously eccentric characters that are just enough believability to them that you enjoy them, and everything else is just comic booky and crazy, and it's pretty much like reading Uncharted, but some of the witty dialogue is a little bit more to the bone, and they're fantastic books. And the most recent one is entitled Scarecrow and the Army of Thieves. I don't know, that sounds pretty cheesy. It sounds a bit, like the Hardy Boys versus the gang of pedophiles, and it doesn't really do it much justice, but it's a fantastic book. And I mean, I read it in a day, and I've not read for a while, because if it's not an author I'm interested in, I generally don't go near many things. And this dude had released a series that featured 7 Ancient Wonders, which were this big old like post-apocalyptic Mayan end of the world doomsday thing, and I wasn't all that into the books, and I personally felt that they were really weak. But he's gone back to his old military guy, and I approve big time. And to give people an idea of what the book is about, it follows a guy called Shane Schofield, and he's an ex-Marine captain who's pretty much had a big traumatic event happen to him on his last mission, so he's kind of had to convalesce for a couple of months, and he's come back to the regiment, and they don't really know where to put him because they think he's psychologically damaged. So they send him to the Arctic with an R&D team for weapons, some like branch of DARPA that's off researching these prototype weaponry and all this advanced weaponry that has to go through these different phases of testing. And they're doing it for a few reasons, but to kind of speed it along, because I don't want to tell you every nuance of the plot, because it's nice to figure it out yourself. But there is a band of mercenaries, of soldiers, of like disenfranchised, just paramilitary guys that have joined together to form this kind of non-state terrorist group called the Army of Thieves, and they're doing pretty much surgical strikes on random installments all across the world. And it seems like they're doing it for no real reason at first, but it turns out that they're actually amassing something. And they assault an ex-Soviet base on a place called Dragon Island that houses a bunch of Cold War like thermonuclear weapons, and they plan to set it off and cause havoc in the world because they're anarchists. And it's one of those where there's nobody close enough to this island to do much about it except for a single SEAL team and this disenfranchised captain with this bunch of civilians and a couple soldiers, and he kind of has to go in and save the world, essentially. And I'll give a bit more of a synopsis in the next video for anybody that's interested. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope it helped, and you take care now.